I'll note that we're doing this with a very needy 5-year-old too. That's almost impossible. And right now his tablet won't turn on, but it's been a nightmare trying to appease it. This is it. Okay, this is very important on the product. We can't mess it up right now. Okay? You have to stay on this. So we're adding them both into the bigger of the two now. So now we're at just a hair over 7 minutes of mixing right now. We're getting it into our clean bucket, and we're going to get ready to pour in about 1.5 minutes. Now the last flood pour we did on the bench, we estimate that almost half of our epoxy eventually made its way off the project, off the tabletop and sides and onto the floor. So you probably can't see in the video, but we do have, and we did have, the bench skirted, just with some cardboard, or in this case mostly wood, to catch a lot of the runoff. Again, we're not experts. In fact, this is only the 4th mix I've ever done, and this is the second flood coat. But I think what we decided, which you'll see me pour in a little bit, is we're going to try to work the product a little less, let gravity work a little bit more. This tabletop, between base coat and flood coat, by the way, they recommend 320 grit sandpaper or so, and 99% isopropyl alcohol rub down. So it's kind of a little challenging, but you do have to scuff up. You have to scuff up your product between coats, which can be a little stressful, but I assure you the bench came out, and we're very confident that we did it right, and that we were repeating that same process here on the table. So we're at 9 minutes, and we're going to go ahead with our pour. This whole next process is about 10 minutes of letting the product do its work and looking around for air bubbles. We just use an El Cheapo foam brush is all as we work the product. So here we go. Keep an eye on the way the product's flowing to see if, we've got this table level. We use this standard, 4-foot contractor level to try to get it as close as possible to where we thought level was. And you'll notice I've used, I don't know, about 75% of the material already, and we're not close to the edge, but I am going to do an edge drizzle, kind of like I did on the live edge of the other product, and just start getting some product over here along the edge so we get some good runoff. Anyway, right here you can start pulling things in. What Jen's going to do is just put some light pressure. You just put light pressure on that brush and you kind of let it do its thing. You don't want to pull a ton out of the middle because you don't want to lose all your product off the edge from what we saw in the first pour. But we also, again, we don't know. I'm going to leave a little bit in the bucket because I want to have a kicker in case I need it. But you don't want to pull a lot because you want to leave some thickness in the top of the project. But you notice I don't have any resin over here yet, so I'm going to start pulling to the sides just a little bit at a time. Try to work fairly quickly through this part of the process because at about 20 minutes it starts tacking up. You don't really want to touch the top anymore. Sides and edges, especially working this live edge, no problem. You have about, another 15 minutes, would you say, Jen?
Yeah.
Another 15 minutes to play around with the live edge and make sure you get good coverage. So you guys probably can't see much of this, but we do have some product already flowing off the edge of the surface, and this is okay, especially towards our live edge. You're starting to see some bubbles working themselves to the surface. That's okay. We're going to have a lot of time to pop bubbles. And make sure that we have none or very few noticeable air bubbles. That is probably one of the best things I found about this product is the air bubbles come out really, really easy. I'm really happy with how they come out at first. You'll see I'm going to be doing a series of passes with the torch, and the first couple passes you have to have the torch fairly close to the surface of the table to get the bubbles to pop. But by the third or so pass, you're barely having to get near the table at all. It's really you're just kind of barely brushing over the surface, honestly. And so, did you get this live edge already, Jen? So now that I'm seeing some product run off, I'm starting to use the brush to really work the live edge. This particular